Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Spring 2022 semester of Business Law. I wanted to make you a couple of welcome videos in which I introduce myself and navigate for you around the Blackboard course, kind of show you where everything is, and hopefully that will answer some of your questions. So I want to start by introducing myself and the course, but I'm not going to tell you too much about myself because I give you an opportunity on our very first discussion board to have you guys come up with something to ask me about. Just, what do you want to know about me? But in the meantime, I'll at least introduce myself. My name is Hallie Sugarman, and I'm obviously your instructor for business law this semester, but I'm also a professor here at Middlesex Community College, and I am the director of the Paralegal Studies program, which means most of the classes that I teach are in our paralegal or legal studies program, but I have the pleasure of teaching at least one, sometimes two sections of business law every semester. And I truly love this class for many reasons, but it also gives me an opportunity to meet some students that are not paralegal students. In fact, I know that many of you are taking this class, are part of one of our business programs, or maybe you're taking the class to satisfy another elective. Usually there's a few paralegal students in the class, but most of you are not. And often I hear from many of you that this is the first law class that you're taking. So if that's you, welcome. If you've taken a number of law classes and this is just one additional, welcome to you as well. And I look forward to getting to know each one of you this semester. So I make these videos because our class is fully asynchronous. That means that we are only an online class. You can log in using your Wi-Fi and internet from any location, national, international, any time of day or night, and you will find our class. There are no live meeting times. There's no time during the week that you must be online with our class, nor is there time that you're required to come to either one of our campuses. That being said, you can absolutely reach me. The best way to reach me if you have any questions or comments about the class or anything is concerning you or something's happening in your life is to email me. And I've included my email address right here under syllabus and course information and also in the syllabus itself. So take a look at that. In the meantime, though, we will be using this weekly discussion board here. Every week of the semester, there's a discussion board for us to talk to each other and get to know each other and discuss the law. But more about that later. Right now, what I want to do is just navigate around the class and show you where everything is in the class so that you'll find everything you need. Also, now that you've had a chance to see what I look like and meet me virtually, you'll get to know me because I have a lot of these videos embedded throughout the class. It's just my way of being able to talk to you about the material, for you to hear from me about what I think is either some of the most important, but also some of what is the most interesting pieces of business law that we will cover. So this is just one of several videos. This system that I use to make these videos, the program I use is called Screencast-O-Matic. It's a free program, and that is fantastic. The downside is that the video limit is actually 15 minutes at a time. So I'm going to make this video. If I need to go beyond 15 minutes, I'll just make a second video. So just so you know, if you're wondering why she didn't just make one 20-minute video or a 25-minute video, it's because the free version won't let me. All right, so just a little bit about this course and how it's organized. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about in business law. It's a huge, expansive topic that has a lot of different subtopics. We will do our best to cover in this one semester what are the most critical topics. So first, just a little bit about how the class is organized, and then I'll walk you through our Blackboard site. The class is broken down into 3 sections, really. The first 2 sections will take us all the way through spring, right before spring break. And then the last section will go from that week right before spring break all the way to the end of the semester. The first part of the semester, I think it's 3 weeks, where we will talk a little bit about where our laws come from. In the concept of business law, it's really not possible to just start talking about the laws without understanding where our laws come from, who makes them, and to really get us engaged in that process, because our laws affect everything we do. Maybe you already own a business or you might own a business, but we're all employees. We all either live or rent or, own some property, or maybe we will own it one day, or maybe we're renters. We might have a car lease or a cell phone contract, or maybe we go to the grocery store and we worry about slipping and falling on ice. These are all legal issues that affect us not just in the business world, but personally. So if we want to understand what those laws are, we should also understand where they come from and who makes them. So that's the first 3 weeks of the semester. At the end of that 3-week period, there will be your first test. The second 3 weeks or 4 weeks of the semester is what I call the business entities unit. In a class called business law, one of our biggest topics is trying to figure out different business organizations. If you run a business, how can that business be legally organized to exist under the law? So we will talk about sole proprietorships, partnerships, limited liability companies, and 2 different kinds of corporations. And that will be a 4-week part. We'll learn about how those entities are organized under the law, the different characteristics, what makes a partnership different from a corporation. And then most importantly, the advantages and disadvantages for choosing what kind of business entity, depending on the kind of business you are. You only can be one. And so it's important to figure out what is the best type of business entity for each type of business. And of course, we'll talk about the roles of the individuals in those businesses, like partners, limited liability company members, officers, directors, shareholders. We'll learn about those different roles as well. Again, at the end of that unit, there will be a second exam, and there will be your first of 2 projects where you will have the opportunity to create your own business entity and write about it, fill out some paperwork with the state, and make your own recording exactly how I'm recording now. I promise it's not too long and you'll have plenty of time to work on it. At the end of that second unit, which again will come the week right before spring break, so I think that's week 8 of the semester, about March 13th. From that point on until the end of the semester, we will devote a week to 2 weeks to different topics in the law that most directly affect business. So we'll talk about torts, which we'll learn about. We'll do a lengthy unit on contract law, how contracts are formed, different kinds of contracts, and then what happens if someone doesn't fulfill their contractual obligation. We will learn about intellectual property, agency law, and employment law. There will also be another project towards the end of the semester on employment discrimination, and then the semester will finish off with a final exam that is not cumulative. It just goes from that halfway point to the end of the semester. So all of this is laid out in the syllabus in terms of the topics that we will cover and how much time we'll spend on each. But I just wanted to give you that overview now. So 3 parts to the semester, starting with government, second with business entities, and then finishing off with several weeks, each devoted to a different subtopic of the law. Okay, so now a little bit about how our Blackboard course is organized. I've been teaching online for quite a while, and I have found that the most important thing for an online class is not just the opportunity to see what I look like, hear my voice, and get to know each other, but also being consistent each semester, each week. So what you're going to want to do is follow this schedule every week. Every week of the semester, roughly, is a different unit of study. So what you'll want to do is log in each Monday morning or close to Monday morning as possible and click on weekly units. Weekly units you will see will be broken down week to week. So you can already see the first 2 weeks are here, January 24th, January 31st, and then so on. I will always make a second unit available ahead of time. So what this means is you'll always see whatever current week we're in, and you'll have the opportunity to look ahead 1 week. There is no obligation and no expectation to go ahead 1 week. It's just there should you want to see what's coming up. Maybe you have a busy week this week, or you have deadlines coming up next week and you just want to work ahead a little bit. It's totally fine, but you don't get any like bonus points or anything for going ahead. It's just kind of there if you want it. So every unit becomes available on a Monday morning. So what's the schedule every week? Here's the good news. The schedule is the same every week. So every week the unit becomes available on a Monday morning, and you have each week, I will provide you with an overview of the deadlines for that week. Then I will include a reading assignment, and that is from your textbook, which I'll talk about on the next video. I will also give you each week at least 1, sometimes 2 videos of myself exactly like this, going over some of the highlights from that week. As I mentioned, it's not every little detail from the book. That would be impossible. Plus, you can read the book. So you don't need me to sit here and just regurgitate the book to you. But I think it's my job, and I kind of enjoy this part, which is talking with you about some of the most important parts of that week's material. So I'll highlight that in a PowerPoint video for you. So you'll have an opportunity to hear me talk about it. And I encourage you to print out the PowerPoint should you want it in paper as well. Each week of the semester, there is a discussion board. Yes, you heard me right. There is one each week. I actually really love the discussion boards in online classes. The law is really exciting. There is always something to discuss. And I want us to have the opportunity to have in-class discussion, even if we never see each other in person, even if we're not online at the same time. So I will give you a prompt each week that will relate to the material that we are learning about. Sometimes I will ask you to write about your thoughts about a particular court case or legal matter raised in your textbook, because there's some really interesting ones. Sometimes I will ask you to reflect on some current events, like some current legal events right now, or even discussing the legality of vaccine requirements or mask mandates. You know, that's something that is highly relevant to business law and the legality of those rules. So it kind of depends week to week what our topics are. So everybody is required to post to the discussion board. In fact, there is a grade for it. And you must post to the discussion board by Thursday of each week. And you also must reply to at least one classmate by the following Monday morning at 8 a.m. So what does that mean for your weekly obligations? Well, every week you'll have a reading assignment that will be posted under the overview, and it's in your syllabus, by the way. You'll read part of the book. You will watch the videos that I provide, and you can look at the PowerPoints. Sometimes I give you extra handouts, but that's not too many. You will post to the discussion board by Thursday night at midnight each week, and then respond to at least one classmate by the following week. You must post yourself and respond to a classmate to get full credit for the discussion board. I encourage you to actually respond to more than one classmate, because that just keeps the class discussion going, but it's not required. Last but not least, there are homework assignments, not every week, but most weeks. And some of the homework assignments are very short. I'll talk about the legal news in just a minute. And a couple of them are longer projects, in which case you will have more time to do them. So take a look and see what the first homework assignment is. It's really just a, get to know Blackboard and get to know a little bit about the law type quiz. So I see that I have about 2 minutes left on my 15-minute video. So for sure, I'm going to go into the next video. But I just want you to see that this organization is consistent every single week. So that's an easy way to keep track of your deadlines. One other thing I'll say before I end this video and ask you to watch video number 2 is just about when you do your work. So here's the thing about the asynchronous classes. You have a lot of flexibility. Some of you might be night owls. You might like to stay up very late at night to get your schoolwork done. Some of you might be morning people. Some of you might be getting your work done in the middle of the day. It doesn't matter to me when you log on. It doesn't matter to me when during that 24-hour day and night you do your work. What matters is meeting the deadlines each week. So as long as you're meeting those deadlines, when you get that work done is up to you. So be sure to budget time each week to read the chapters in the book, watch the videos, participate in the discussion board, and complete any homework that is required. Okay, I'm going to end this video here, and when I pick up on the next video, I'll just talk a little bit more about the organization of the units, but more importantly, I want to show you how to upload your homework if you've never done that in an online class. Okay, and then just say a few other things, and it probably won't be the whole 15 minutes. I'll see you on video number 2.